Howdy folks, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over a brief spoiler-free review of Digimon Story Time Stranger. I just wanted to kind of cover some things on it and do some stuff spoiler-free, so don't worry, I'm not going to actually spoil any, I'm not going to talk about anything with the story. I'm not going to talk about characters or something, or, you know, anything that's like hidden that you wouldn't have revealed to you until like the end of the game, right? So I'm not going to go over any of that. We're just going to talk about like a lot of the basics of the game and everything like that. So first things first, let's just go ahead and just cover this basis. So Digimon Story Time Stranger is a JRPG that was produced by Bandai Namco. It is a creature capture game in the truest sense of the word, and it is a very, very, very fun game. And to just sort of like, if you're just popping in here to see whether it's worth buying or not, while I am somebody with a Digimon bias, putting my bias aside, it is an excellently well-made game. That's probably redundant to say that like that, but I love it. It is a phenomenal game. It is a great time. And yes, you should get it. That just to answer that. But with that all being said, let's go ahead and cover some brief things, right? So I'm just going to go over some negatives and some positives. We're going to start with the negatives because I'd rather end the video on a positive note. And there's really not many negatives to this game, in my opinion. So to kind of just cover a couple of bases here, the biggest negative realistically is probably the DLC that they did, the EXP, like outer dungeon DLC thing that gives you a EXP dungeon, a money farm dungeon, and a item farm dungeon. The item farm dungeon is kind of useless. You don't really need that because you don't. It's just, it doesn't ever really come up that much. But the EXP and the item ones are definitely, or sorry, the EXP and the money ones are definitely very valuable. While I'm not gonna tell you to purchase it. If you have the money for it and you want to do it and you want to make your life easier while playing the game, go for it. That is your prerogative. Do it. I did it as well, so there's no judgment. But I do think that the practice that they followed with creating the DLC was not great, because from what I understand, the DLC honestly is only 2 kilobytes, which means you're essentially just buying a key to access those dungeons, and those dungeons are already in the code of the game. From what I understand. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please correct me, but that's what I understand, and it's very, very silly. So like with that in mind on that topic, there's the level grinding in this game is a bit more kind of wonky than previous games, and it just sort of is like a little bit of a precursor here. I'm probably going to compare this game a lot to Digimon Stories, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory, and I'm sure I'll probably make some Pokemon comparisons at some point. But to kind of cover this basis really quick here, the EXP grinding itself, like there's not really many great zones to do like hard leveling. Like early game's pretty easy, and the game, I will say it like this, it does scale where if you're just doing all the fights as you're progressing through the zones and progressing through the stories, you really don't need to grind unless you are specifically trying to level something else up at the same time, or catch something else up, which because of how the EXP system works in this game with your entire box of Digimon getting XP. Imagine, to compare this, like if you're a Pokemon player, imagine if every time you did a battle, not only your whole party got EXP, but your entire box got 80% of that EXP that you just got from that fight as well, for the entirety of the game. Because that's how Time Stranger works, which is really, really cool. It's a very convenient and quality of life factor thing. But it is kind of hard to find like a good grinding spot. The best spot that I have found personally is a side quest you unlock after you finish the main story of the game that is a repeatable fight that you can do that gives you from what I saw, I believe it was somewhere, it was a couple 100,000 XP. I think it was like 500 or 700,000 XP, I believe. I don't have the exact numbers on me, so I apologize for that. But it's very good. That's probably the best spot to do it. Gripes aside from that, there's a few things that I wish were maybe a bit more well explained. The game it gives you some good general tutorials for the most part that will help you understand just the basics of things, but it still feels like there's like certain intricacies or complications, or not complications. Let's just stick with intricacies that are not super well explained at times, that you kind of have to figure out for yourself as a player, which is fine. But for newer people that maybe don't want to like, you know, are trying to like not have to like learn all the intricate portions of it, it's nice to have it just kind of explained to you, or it to be a little bit more simplified. But it does, you know, at the same time, you can make the argument that it does reward players for investing more time into looking into the different intricate things, such as like blue stats, for example, and the different ways you can level those up and make them stronger. And that being said, even with the EXP grinding stuff kind of, you know, not being the greatest, they really buffed up load enhancing, which for anyone who doesn't know is basically when you take a Digimon and you essentially condense it or load it into another Digimon. So you combine it into that one and you basically give the XP and stuff to that Digimon that you're combining it into. It's not necessarily like fusing, because you're not like making something new out of it. You're just taking a Digimon and loading it into another one and giving them like the XP that that Digimon had acquired and other stuff like that. So that kind of helps explain that, hopefully. But yeah, so aside from the DLC practice, EXP grinding being a little bit different in this game, where it's not like it was in Cyber Sleuth and Hack's Memory, where like you set up the Tactician USBs and go like do 2 fights and you're level 99. You still have plenty of other ways to navigate around it that are very doable and not that hard. It's just definitely a little bit, it's both slower and faster, which I'll get to why the faster stuff when I talk about the quality of life stuff during the positive segments of this video. Aside from that, I think that the only other gripe I really had with the game that I can think of right now is so when you get to like right before the last fight, and this is not spoiler stuff, but you're going to unlock a lot of side quests. There are like 30 to 40 side quests, I think. It feels like it, at least, that just all hit you at once, that a lot of them felt like they definitely could have been paced throughout the game and tossed into plenty of times in between main story stuff while progressing through the game that would have made them feel more natural, instead of kind of like you're at the last segment of the game, you get all these side quests, you go and do them, and then you come back. Luckily they're all good side quests. They're all fun. Or at least at the very least they have like intricate stories to them, or fun like things that they talk about and stuff like that, or they're involved with interesting characters. So that helps sort of alleviate some of the pressure of all the quests you're receiving. But it can definitely, I could see how it could feel very overwhelming to some players. Getting to the end of the game and being like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna jump right into it, and then like you go to just double check to make sure you don't have anything else to finish, and then the next like 6 hours of your life is just like side quests, and every time you complete one, it's like a Hydra. You cut off the head and 2 more take its place. Like it just keeps coming back and back. So that's the only thing there. But I think that's it for the negatives. That's really it. Honestly, those are like my 3 gripes. And just to kind of cover them again, the whole DLC practice thing they did, which with the $7 DLC was silly. That should just be part of the game, or should have been at least included in the deluxe and ultimate editions of the game. The just sort of like battle XP, I wish there's maybe a bit better of a means of doing that stuff. There's still plenty of means around it, so it's not the biggest thing. This is more of a nitpick, really. But that's something that I would have been more convenient to my little brain. And then the whole thing with all the side quests kind of just, or a lot of side quests being just sort of loaded towards the back of the game. And then you haven't, you know, if you want 100% it, you have to like spend some time to completing all those realistically. And they're worth completing, by the way. Which, let's move on to the positives, right? Positives. The story is beautiful. It is an amazing story. It is fantastic, filled with rich environments and phenomenal characters. It is very, very well done, very well structured from start to finish in terms of the actual story that you're progressing through. And nothing feels too fast. Nothing feels too slow. Everything just feels paced correctly to where you feel like you're actively advancing in the game in a decent, like moderate amount of time. Without something like nothing, I can't recall anything ever feeling like a stretch or like a dragged on too long unless I chose for it to. So which that's really good. That's really, really good. And the final segment of the game. Oh, I somehow cut the recording by hitting my spacebar when I was coming back from my own. So anyways, it is a phenomenal time. It is a great story. I love it. It is fantastic. It is good. And on that note, the characters, the world building, that is all great as well. All the characters are fun, and they have their own motivations and their own characteristics and like little quirks and stuff like that make them stand out and unique and make you remember them. And even if you don't remember their names, you remember the interactions with those characters. You remember the faces. You remember like all those moments in the stories with them going through it. And you know, to that, the world building as well, like they do a very good job of like modeling Akihabara and Shinjuku and everything in the areas around those prefectures in Japan. It's very, very well done. The digital world feels phenomenal. It is beautiful. It is alive. It feels great. All the overworld Digimon is a great choice for all of that. It's very, very nice. And it makes every area you go to feel just like alive. It just feels alive. And then, you know, on top of all that too, the the aesthetic of the game as well. The cell shaded graphics, I think, is a great call. I think that when games try and do like too hyper realistic, or they try and do something with more like detailed textures that are set in a realism of some kind, it definitely can age worse. And I think when you do something that's like cell shaded, cartoony, anime style stuff like that, it's a game that will like Time Stranger is a game that's going to look good 10 years from now. And you disagree with me on that. Maybe that just comes down to an aesthetic preference. But realistically, in terms of like sharpness and graphic fidelity and whatnot, that game's still gonna look good then. Like everything is like, look at Wind Waker, for example, right? GameCube Wind Waker still like has parts of that game that even on old VGA cables still looks great, even in all of its little blurry, like old TV goodness. Like it's still a lovely experience. There's a even like nostalgia aside, like the way they chose to design the game helps it kind of just look good moving forward for years and years to come. And I think that's the case here with Time Stranger. I think that it's going to still look good 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now. We'll see what happens. Maybe we're in 20 years from now, we're all stepping into a digital world ourselves and we have Digimon friends, some crazy shit like that. But yeah, so that's that there. And bringing it all together, the music in this game is really, really well. It's so good. My favorite score is Gear Forest. I love the Gear Forest music when you're in the like actual like little hub town area. It's so good. It is just the nice, like just like very party kind of like beat. It gives me like old school RPG vibes, and it's just awesome. I love it so much. And there's so much other music in this game as well that's great. All the boss music is really good. The fight music in general is very nice. It's not too repetitive or annoying. It's really, really cool. So there's loads of good stuff there. So story, phenomenal. Characters, phenomenal. World building, phenomenal. Music, great. All of that stuff is so good. It is so good. And let's move on to quality of life stuff. Quality of life in this game is great, right? You can have your battle speed set to 1, 2, 3, or 5 times, which at 5 times it just skips animations as well. So it's very, very quick. If you're somebody who like, you want to play the game, but you don't have time to really like enjoy everything, you can kind of, hurry it up a little bit, or you can slow it down and play at your own pace, right? Do whatever you want to do. Having auto battles available to players is very, very good as well. If you're somebody who's like maybe trying to like do something else on the side, or you're working on a project, or maybe you're a parent and you have kids, something like that, right? You don't have time to always just be focused on every single fight. You can set up auto battle with those battle speeds to just help you move through areas quicker while still getting to enjoy things. Or set the pace to whatever you want to like. Like maybe you just want to watch the fights and you don't want to play them, right? You can do that. That's really cool. That's completely an option to you. The difficulty settings are all for the game, and the quality of life stuff are all very well explained, and they all work very, very well. And I think that it was a smart choice to not have EXP gain be tied to difficulty in any sense. So, it can be kind of rough if you're playing on Mega Plus trying to do stuff, which, I've played just about 100 hours at this point, and the reason that this video is a little bit slower on coming out is because I was trying to work through Mega Plus, which I just finished last night. So that can feel a bit rough for leveling things, but you don't like, if you're going into Mega Plus, you're probably going into it just to get to challenge yourself and finish the game on that difficulty. You're not gonna like play through it like it's like a first playthrough. You can't, because you don't unlock it until after you clear the game for it, the first time. So that's that there. So battle quality of life, difficulty quality of life. Movement in general is really, really nice. They have a lot of good menu shortcuts as well that are very, very good. A lot of the menus are very simple and straightforward. They're very responsive, and they move quickly. All of the like sound effects and everything are very, very pleasing to listen to, and they like let you know where you're at a lot of times, so you can really quickly kind of understand and get that satisfaction from menuing, which is really nice. I think a good game menu honestly can make or break some games. Especially, depending on how like the UI and the HUD looks, and all of that looks great in Time Stranger. It's not too invasive, but it's just informative enough to give you all the information that you're going to need on everything. So that's really good there. And then positive, there's loads of Digimon. There's 450 plus Digimon in the game. We already have 3 DLCs lined up. They're going to have additional Digimon as well as more content for us to play through, which is great. I hope that we get something that's like more replayable, because I really just want to be able to spend more time playing the game. But at this point now, after finishing Mega Plus, outside of like maybe if like mods come out for the game, there's really not much else for me to do. I've completed the field guide. I've played through the game twice. I've witnessed pretty much how the game plays while doing side quests and without doing side quests. Like I think I've done everything. I don't think there's anything I can do. I've even done like some of like the little secret stuff and whatnot that you can find. And it's all good. It's all great. So, you know, all of that quality of life stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm kind of just ripping this to keep it a buck. I'm sure you can probably tell because I am a fast talker and scatterbrain, but hopefully this video is informative enough and I'm not talking so fast that the information does not get captured well. And, you know, I basically, I don't want to show any content of the game because I didn't want to spoil anything with where I'm at in my main game. And, like, I'd have to go back and, like, snap stuff from the stream and whatnot, like, to get, like, 5 minutes of footage. And so I just figured I'd just do a podcast version because chances are you'll probably, like, listen to this on your way to work or, you know, while you're doing something else anyways, probably. So you can just hear me talk about it. But, yeah, I think that covers everything. Overall, if I was going to score the game, I'd give it a solid 9.5 to 9.8 out of 10. You know, it's, you know, nothing in this world is perfect. If I was to include my bias, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, a million out of 10. It's a phenomenal game. It's a great game. And you should absolutely get it. But being realistic and taking the bias away, I'd say it's a solid like 9.5, 9.8 in my opinion. Somewhere in between there. You know, I think that it is a great game that if you are a Digimon fan, you're going to love it. If you are someone who just likes creature capture games, you're going to love it. If you're someone who likes RPGs, JRPGs, you're going to love it. And if you're someone who's like brand new to these kind of games, it is a great entry point because of all the quality of life stuff, because of how well written the story is. The characters are all super well done. And to that point too, actually, before I move on from characters, the voice acting in the game is phenomenal. I can only imagine that the Japanese voice acting is great. I only listened to the English while I played through my playthroughs, so I could like listen to them while I was doing other stuff at times. And that was amazing. So I'm sure that the Japanese voiceover and any other voiceover they have in the game, I'm not sure what other languages they have, are probably all very, very good, or, you know, at least they help you, they communicate the story to you very well. So yeah, I think everything's really good. I think that that's all solid. And yeah, I think that is a great entry point for anybody just looking to maybe try out an RPG or a JRPG, get into the Digimon franchise if you're wanting to. You know, if you're somebody who's like on the fence about wanting to get the game because you've heard a lot of good things, you know, this is your chance. Do it. Absolutely do it. If you're waiting for a sale, that's fine too, but you should definitely snag it when it goes on sale. It is a good game. It is a great experience and something that I will, you know, remember forever. I'm never going to forget playing through that game and doing the marathon stream with my buddy Mike and talking with other friends and whatnot during it. It was just good. It was just a fun time. So yeah, I think that about covers it. That's going to be the review for this. You know, if people were wanting my thoughts more directly on certain story stuff, sorry. This is my one review video I'm going to do. I just wanted to do something like general and generic enough to kind of talk about a lot of the systems and mechanics of the game. And, you know, not touch too much on any direct story stuff or direct character things. I think just the whole experience is a phenomenal ride, and you should play it at your pace and enjoy it as much as you can. Get the most out of the game as you can. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you had a good time. If you're new here, consider sticking around. Check out other content. Check out all our card game stuff. You know, we don't do video game content very often. It's really kind of our first splooge into it with me doing the stream and everything. So, you know, definitely go check it out if you're interested. All the VODs are on YouTube. If you want to watch the marathon stream, if you're curious and you're like, you know, just want to see a little bit of the game before jumping too much into it, you can absolutely do that. So, yeah, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.